do you guys think? Well, notice here, there is a diagonal vessel coming this way. And notice over here, this one's going straight down. Well, this is the anterior branch of the left coronary artery. Sorry, the anterior intraventricular branch of the left coronary artery. Which means that over here should be the right ventricle and over here should be the left. Let's check. Oh, would you look at that? Notice how the left ventricle, the left ventricle is thicker than the right ventricle here. Left ventricle thicker walls than the right ventricle. See that? Why do you guys think that is? Why is it that left ventricle should have thicker walls than the right?
It pumps blood to the body.
Which one?
The left.
The left has to have thicker ventricles so it could produce greater force to push the blood out to the rest of the body. The right ventricle just pushes it to the lungs, and the lungs are where? Right next to it, right? That's why. And yep, this tells me this is anterior. Now, if you look in here, this is the right ventricle. This is the left ventricle. Do you see these string structures here? Can you see?
Yeah.
Those are chordae tendineae, right? And if I tug on one, notice how it's tugging on that. That's the papillary muscle, right? If this is the papillary muscle and this is the chordae tendineae, what is this thing that I'm moving? What do you think that is? That's a valve. Which valve do you think that is? This is the bicuspid valve because it's on the right. It's on the left, right? The one over here, this valve, would be the tricuspid because it's on the right. Okay? So, oh, do you also see these little pits at the bottom? These little indentations? Trabecular cardiac, right? And do note that there's a septum that separates the ventricles from each other, right? Okay. Now, one of the things that you guys should be able to do is you should be able to tell me what vessel is the blood going into. So, what vessel do you think this one is? Who says superior vena cava? Who says no? You're right, it's not. This is the pulmonary trunk. Remember, pulmonary trunk is first. Then the aorta. Then the superior vena cava. Remember, it would have been cut on these guys. So, if I stick my probe through here, pulmonary trunk, what chamber should I be in? Atrium? The right ventricle. Well, would you look at that? I'm in the right ventricle. See that? If I stick my probe through this vessel, what chamber should I be in? The left ventricle? Are we all on the cord? All right. Oh, would you look at that? I am in the left ventricle. Right? If I stick my probe through here, now where am I? I'm in the right atrium. Is that true? Why? Yes, I am in the right atrium. Technically, the right atrium is all this thing that they cut out, but if I stick my probe through it, look, it's going to go into the right ventricle. Right? So, this portion here, this is where the pulmonary arteries, the pulmonary veins should have been, but they cut the veins out, right? Which means what is this chamber that I'm in right here? What is that chamber? You guys see it? What is that chamber right there? Who said it? That's the left atrium. See? That is the left atrium. Because now I go through the bicuspid valve. Familiarize yourself. Base, apex, pulmonary trunk, aorta, superior vena cava. This is the what's this structure here? That's the left auricle, and this is the right auricle, right? And these are the atrias, which is in here, and then you got the ventricles. Trabeculate cardiae, chordae tendineae, trabeculate cardiae, papillary muscles, valves, and that's it. So be sure to grab one of the hearts and just poke through it and see, where am I now? What chamber did I enter? Where did I just come from? Right? Any questions?